Hello everyone. This is the 44th part of the story, Mārvēl Unlimited Skills, I Can Download. Chapter 260. After getting Apocalypse's ability, Bruce was about to leave Egypt. At this time, he heard the long-lost voice of the system. Beep. Detecting the host has downloaded Apocalypse's ability, the next task about Apocalypse is activated. Strengthening X-Men's strength, defeating the Four Horsemen and Apocalypse. Bruce started to think carefully. Now the storm was still in Egypt, should he take her away? If taking her away, Apocalypse would lose a horseman. If one of the Four Horsemen was missing, how could he finish the next phase of the task? At least, it was 500,000 energy values. Storm, let her continue with the original plots. After Apocalypse watched TV, he would naturally improve her ability. After all, the current Storm was still not the powerful one in the future. If without Apocalypse, her ability at most could summon a flatus to tickle people. As for Apocalypse, he was not qualified to be Bruce's opponent before he mastered the power of rules. After considering the gain and loss carefully, Bruce left the place. The White Queen's room, Bruce Casino, Las Vegas. The blonde stunner was wearing a sexy silk stocking and stroking Bruce's chest on the bed. "Master, you finally came to see me. I haven't seen you for a long time," said the White Queen. With speaking, she blinked her eyes and attempted to unzip his trouser. "Emma, wait a minute, I have something to tell you." Bruce stopped White Queen's movements and sat up. Before the White Queen had any response, he directly put his hands on her head and activated the strengthening mutant. Instantly, Bruce felt a mysterious energy appearing on his hands, then it injected into the White Queen's body with a slight glow. After taking in this energy, the White Queen's body shivered slightly as if it activated her potential gene code. Her cells were constantly extended and reorganized and became extremely active. In this process, the White Queen's ability underwent a radical change. A few hours later, Bruce sensed the White Queen's body stopping the change. He opened the system panel and started to check her information. Name, Emma Grace Frost. Identity, White Queen, Level 4 Mutant. Ability, Telepathy, 100W, Diamond Mimicry, 100W, Mind Control, 80W, Electronics Mastery, 5W, Fighting Technique Mastery, 5W. At first, Bruce thought it would only strengthen the White Queen's Diamond Mimicry, but didn't expect it also strengthened her telepathy ability. The energy values of these two abilities also soared from hundreds of thousands to 1 million. After checking the White Queen information, Bruce knew she was no longer the same now. After awakening the mind control, her spiritual strength had reached Professor X's level. As for the diamond mimicry, it was no longer limited on her body, she could reconstitute the diamonds at the molecular level. In other words, the White Queen could turn everything she touched into diamonds. For example, if the White Queen fought with Iron Man, she could directly turn his armor into diamonds after she touched his armor. Then, Iron Man's armor would lose all of its functions. If it's that case, Iron Man would be quite tearing. At this time, the White Queen was also sensing the change of her abilities. She slightly raised her hands, then everything in this room turned into the crystal diamonds, except Bruce. Wow! The White Queen excitedly jumped up from the bed. "Well, Emma, you try whether you can use the telepathy ability while you activate the diamond mimicry," said Bruce. Hearing Bruce's words, the White Queen immediately took a try without any hesitation. The unthinkable scene happened, she did. "Yes, Master, I did. Besides, I can directly control the object's mind." The diamond body couldn't speak, so the White Queen passed the answer to Bruce through the telekinesis ability. Bruce stroked his chin, he was very satisfied with this result. The current White Queen was equivalent to an enhanced version of Professor X. However, if it's not because the strengthened mutant, the White Queen would never reach level 4. Besides, even if Apocalypse himself was also unable to improve a level 3 to level 4 directly. At most, he could improve a level 1 or 2 to level 3. The reason should be Bruce had reached the level 5 of mutant and he was more powerful than Apocalypse. After the second thought, Bruce activated his strengthening mutant again. But this time hadn't any effect. Seemingly, this energy could only strengthen her for once. With Bruce's current strength, this should be as far as he could go. In the future, if he reached the level 6 of mutant or the universe level, maybe he could create the level 5 mutants. At this time, the White Queen saw Bruce motionless in thought. She directly twined her body on him just like an octopus. She tried her best to squeeze her full twin peaks and made Bruce feel her heat. Bruce smiled slightly, then turned over his body and got her under him. The next day, Xavier's school. Thinking back the craziness of last night, Bruce lightly shook his head as if the White Queen never knew fatigue. Fortunately, his body was not bad. After locating Cyclops with the god telekinesis, Bruce walked towards him. He just got the strengthening mutant and there were many limitations he still didn't understand. He needed more mutants to study this ability. Chapter 261. When Bruce saw Cyclops, he found a strange girl next to him. "Hello, Mr. Bruce." Cyclops courteously greeted Bruce as soon as he saw him. But the girl beside him looked quite timid. She was also Asian, the black hair and yellow skin was the same as Bruce. Seeing Bruce's puzzled gaze, Cyclops immediately introduced this beautiful girl to Bruce. "Sir, she is Jubilation Lee and is also a Chinese. Her parents have passed away. Logan brought her here yesterday." Hearing Cyclops's introduction, Bruce took a handshake with this girl. Name, Jubilation Lee. Identity, Firework, Level 2 Mutant. Ability, Energy Plasmoids, 20W. Glancing at Jubilation Lee's information, Bruce had thought back about her. Jubilation Lee was a Level 2 mutant. Her ability could generate what she called fireworks, also known as energy plasmoids or lumikinetic explosive, light blast. These were essentially globules of light energy that varied in power and intensity. The globules obeyed her mental commands, traveling where she directed them, arranging themselves in a variety of forms, balls, streamers, and other shapes, and exploding when she wished. The explosions could result in anything from a multitude of colorful sparkles, capable of temporarily blinding a person, to a fairly powerful detonation capable of smashing tree trunks or metal objects. Bruce suddenly felt that this girl and him were very predestined because they not only had the same family name, but also belonged to the same race. "Oh, girl, I see something on your hair." With speaking, Bruce secretly picked up a petal using his psychokinesis from the ground, then he touched towards her and pretended as if there was really something on her hair. A light on his hand secretly flashed away. Instantly, Bruce had finished strengthening her. After all, Jubilation Lee was not a level 3 mutant like White Queen, so the energy she required was very little. What? Jubilation Lee perceived the change in her body. She widely opened her eyes and looked at Bruce as if seeing something incredible. At this moment, Bruce checked her information again. Name, Jubilation Lee. Identity, Firework, Level 3 Mutant. Ability, Energy Plasmoids, 50W. Mr. Bruce, I seem to be getting stronger. After speaking, Firework immediately cast a group of plasmoids. She controlled them, changing the color and shape ceaselessly, which looked very beautiful. However, anyone could sense the great destructive power in them. Now, Firework could not only generate the lumikinetic explosive, but also she could transform plasmoids into various weapons just like Psylocke. Yes, girl, you are stronger, no one can bully you. With the chat, Bruce had already checked her memories. Jubilation Lee's parents were murdered, and she lived a hard life at a young age. Bruce felt deep sympathy for the tragedy that happened to this compatriot of Chinese descent. Hi, girl, can you put the weapon away first? Cyclops interrupted them at this moment. Firework looked back and showed an embarrassed expression. It turned out that she negligently broke Cyclops's clothes just now when she cast the plasmoids. Taking advantage of Firework apologized to Cyclops. Bruce tried to strengthen her again. Sure enough, she was the same with the White Queen, there wasn't any effect. At this moment, Bruce came to a conclusion. His strengthening mutant ability could only be used once on a mutant, besides it could only upgrade them one level. Girl, don't tell anyone what happened to you today. Bruce sent a message to Firework's mind, then found an excuse to leave them. As a Chinese, Firework naturally had a cordial feeling to Bruce. She obediently nodded in the direction Bruce left. Cyclops knew this direction was Professor X's office. An hour later, Bruce walked out of Professor X's office. Since he often discussed magic with Professor X, it was normal to touch the professor's body in this process, so the professor didn't doubt him. However, Bruce confirmed a thing that the strengthening mutant couldn't work on Charles. No wonder Apocalypse didn't strengthen Magneto in the original plots. It's not that he didn't want to, but he couldn't. The limitation of the strengthening mutant ability was that the user couldn't strengthen a mutant to the same level with the ability caster. If Bruce wanted to strengthen Charles into a level 5 mutant, he had to become a level 6 mutant first. Up to now, the level 6 was still a legend. Maybe Jean could reach this level in the future. At the same time, Bruce had calculated that a level 4 mutant could even bring him more than 500,000 energy values at least. So next, he planned to focus on strengthening the current level 3 mutants. On the second thought, Bruce found that he had missed a detail. Before he strengthened Firework, she was a level 2 mutant. But Firework failed to become a level 4 mutant like the White Queen. That's meaning, she wasted the only opportunity in her life to become a level 4 mutant. In the future, if she wanted to become a level 4 relying on herself, it's almost impossible. Such a case, Bruce learned a lesson. Now, the current level 3 mutants in Xavier's school were only Wolverine and Cyclops. But Bruce didn't have a deep relationship with Wolverine at present. So he decided to start from Cyclops. Thinking of this, he sent a message to him. After class, I will wait for you in a restaurant. It's about 10 miles from school. Just when Bruce ordered the meal, Cyclops arrived without any person following him. Sir, what's up? Well, Scott, did you notice that girl today? Yes, sir. She is obviously much stronger today. I don't tell anyone about this thing. Cyclops was inherently cautious. No wonder he would be valued by Charles in the future and took over Professor X's position in the end, Bruce secretly thought in mind. So, sir, it's... Yes. Bruce snapped his fingers to inform the waiter to serve, then leaned closer to the table and looked at Cyclops seriously. Recently, I awakened a new ability. It can strengthen other mutants. Would you like to have a try? Clang. Sir, is it true? My eyes. Well, perhaps. After eating, Bruce took Cyclops to the outskirts not far away. Are you ready, boy? Cyclops removed the glasses Hank specially made for him, then nodded at Bruce excitedly. Chapter 262. An empty outskirts. Bruce stood in front of Cyclops. He could completely understand Cyclops's tension at this time. Since Cyclops awakened his super ability, he had been isolated from the society of the normal human. In order not to hurt others, Cyclops closed his eyes, lived in a dark world. After he came to Xavier's school, Hank specially made a pair of glasses for him that could make him open his eyes. But even so, he still thought he was a monster because no one would be the same as him that wore ugly glasses all the time, whether drinking, eating or sleeping. He didn't know since when it had become a dream to take off his glasses. Bruce didn't say anything. He stepped forward Cyclops and activated the strengthening mutant ability. The mysterious energy rushed out and emitted a dazzling white light. After a while, until Cyclops's cells stopped evolving, Bruce just checked Cyclops's information again. Name, Scott Summers. Identity, Cyclops, level 4 mutant. Ability, the mutation body of the fixed star level, 120W, energy absorption, 100W, linking different space, 50W, susceptive perception, 30W, flying, 20W. Item, Cyclops's glasses, specially made by Hank, 1W. Seeing the mutation body of the fixed star level, Bruce knew that Cyclops really got the blessing of fortune this time. It reminded Bruce of Thanos' Titan curse god body that required 1.2 million energy values at that time. At first, Cyclops' body couldn't bear the energy from the sun. he had to use another ability to link the different spaces to store energy. Now, Cyclops could directly absorb the energy from the fixed star into his body. In fact, now his body was the same as Superman in Detective Comics. Besides, absorbing fixed stars' energy could also improve the density of his body. That's meaning, his strength, speed and agility could be explosively improved in this process. But now, he was still not as powerful as Superman, who could unlimitedly use the fixed star's energy. Bruce noticed that Cyclops' strength stopped at the Earth level. Maybe this was the limit of the mutation body of the fixed star level. If Cyclops reached level 5, that just equated to the fixed star level. If it's that case, Cyclops was definitely stronger than Superman. After all, Superman didn't have such a portable energy store like Cyclops. Besides, Cyclops won't have Superman's defects. Open your eyes, Scott. Sir. Out of confidence in Bruce, Cyclops opened his eyes. Sure enough, the laser beam didn't uncontrollably emit again. Is this real? Cyclops looked at his hands in disbelief. He felt like a new man that was full of explosive power. The current him could beat 10 of previous him. Scott, feel the sun above your head with your heart, you can try to fly. Hearing Bruce's words, Cyclops closed his eyes. Yes, exactly. Bruce, using his psychokinesis, propped up Cyclops's body. Feel what it's like to be in the air, remember it. After that, Bruce evacuated his psychokinesis. However, Cyclops was still floating in the air. Hearing Bruce's words, Cyclops slowly opened his eyes and found that he was really floating in the air. He couldn't help but cried out in excitement. The next moment he directly fell down. But he didn't feel pain. It's at least tens of meters above the ground just now. Okay, Scott, you can practice it slowly, let's go back. Bruce pulled Cyclops up, and don't give up practicing your laser beam ability because your stronger body, it's your foundation. Cyclops nodded and said, yes, sir, I feel this ability is more powerful now. At this moment, he was more confident. But Bruce sermonized, stop show off, it's time go back. At first, Cyclops wanted to fly back, but Bruce didn't agree. Because he called Cyclops out of the school and was just wanting to avoid Professor X. Whereafter, they returned to school in the Titan vehicle. At the same time, a poor family in Egypt. Apocalypse was ceaselessly rolling his eyes while putting his hand on a television. The television automatically switched channels without a remote control, including many previously unsearchable channels. Looking at her poor television, Storm thought, Apocalypse should have an ability that could control the television. Apocalypse wore a hood, Storm couldn't see his expression. In fact, Apocalypse was learning the knowledge and language of modern society through searching different signals. He learned that human society had changed dramatically over thousands of years. Everything was different from the time of his reign. The Industrial Revolution, various wars, the power of science and technology, until the emergence of nuclear bombs. But more importantly, everything was not in his reign. His time had passed. The existence of science overthrew theocracy, and materialism replaced idealism. Seeing all of these, Apocalypse slightly astonished first, next, he felt unprecedentedly angry. Humans actually dared to ignore the god. He would like to purify the world. At this moment, Apocalypse's hood shook off. Storm stood in front of Apocalypse blankly. Watching Apocalypse's expression changed rapidly, she secretly thought, is this guy a drug addict? Just when she wanted to awaken Apocalypse, he suddenly grabbed her hands. Storm was startled and immediately wanted to get rid of his hands, but Apocalypse spoke in unintelligible words, the world needs our rescue, my horseman. Whereafter, Storm's body couldn't help but tremble continuously. After a while, Apocalypse released Storm's hands. At this time, the room was full of wind. Lightning flashed over Storm, who had returned to freedom. Storm amazingly found a fact that she had become a level 3 mutant from the level 1. Before that, she could only cast a breeze, but now it's a real storm. Besides, she obtained the lightning's power. Now she could directly control a large storm, produce snow and lightning. The asymmetry of power gave her a feeling that a sparrow had suddenly become a phoenix. Chapter 263. Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Bruce stared at the window in silence. The happenings in Egypt were naturally noticed by him. However, he still felt that Apocalypse's action was too slow. Because he had upgraded Scott to level 4, Apocalypse had just upgraded a level 3, Storm. Moreover, Storm would be destined to betray Apocalypse. But Bruce didn't intend to interfere with Apocalypse. After all, Apocalypse would eventually help him to finish the task of rising in X-Men's world, so let him continue to recruit his 4 horsemen slowly. Looking back at the growing power of Xavier's school, Bruce contemplated for a while. Now the strength between Xavier's school and Apocalypse was extremely uneven. If Apocalypse did not have level 4 followers, Bruce would lose a lot of benefits when the war came. So he decided to help Apocalypse. After activating the god telekinesis, Bruce located the Nightcrawler soon. The space ripple flashed, and Bruce disappeared in place. Inside the fence of a black fist. Ha, ha! The Nightcrawler gasped for breath and looked at his opponent, a mutant with wings on his back, was also the defender of this challenge. His title was Angel. At the moment, Angel looked like a drowned mouse, his white wings stained with blood, and one of the wings had been broken, because he had taken 10 enemies in turn before fighting with the Nightcrawler. Before that, the humans found that they couldn't beat Angel, so they forced a mutant Nightcrawler here from a circus. Looking at the roar of humans around, the machine gun and the electric wall, Nightcrawler understood that both him and Angel had become playthings for humans at this moment. Because humans liked to see powerful creatures killed each other, they were willing to spend money here for satisfying their hardcore flavor. Suddenly, a man in a black suit appeared between them just when the Nightcrawler helplessly looked at the guards who were pointing at him with the gun and ready to take the next attack towards Angel. Between the twinkling of an eye, this man had grabbed Nightcrawler's tail with one hand and another hand had grabbed Angel's big wing. Next, the time and space around them stopped instantly. Everyone present was pinned down as if they were under a freeze spell. This man was just Bruce. Seeing these two had been taken down so easy, Bruce leisurely checked their information. Nightcrawler was a level 3 mutant because of his special background. Angel was in level 2. If they continued to fight in this way, Nightcrawler would definitely win in the end. It's just that Nightwalker didn't have the killing intent now, so the fight still kept on. Bruce decided to give Nightwalker a push. Next, he activated the mind control and dragged everyone present into a spirit cage. When Bruce did what he wanted later, he would naturally unlock the cage. And everyone present would regain their mobility and forget what had happened just now. Bang bang bang. The surveillance camera cracked, which was also deliberately did by Bruce. After Bruce did these, one of his hands that caught the Nightcrawler emitted a glimmer and he activated the strengthening mutant ability. Due to Nightwalker's special ability, he could sense everything Bruce did. However, what could he do? After regaining mobility, Nightcrawler felt as if there were 2 more hands behind him. He turned his head back and was startled. His back actually grew out 2 sturdy wings, which stretched out to be 4 to 5 meters long. Look down at his lower part. The strong legs, abdominal muscles and hideous arms that were full with bone spurs. Whose body was this? Nightwalker was completely stunned. He glanced at Angel and found that Angel was looking back at him in horror. What happened? Suddenly, he found that Angel was too short and just like a child in front of him. However, an evil thought quickly invaded his consciousness at this moment and his eyes immediately turned dark before he could do anything to resist this evil thought. Next, he raised his big palm and quickly slapped towards Angel. Boom! Angel was directly blown out, that just like being hit head-on by a heavy truck. Sizzle! The high-voltage network shorted out because of the heavy collision of Angel's body. Angel was tangled in it and looked extremely tragic. His blood-stained feathers flew all over the ground, as if he would stop his last breath at any time. Boom! 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 The heavy footsteps showed the coming of the Nightcrawler. The iron gate was directly pulled in half by his strong hands at the next moment. Ah! Cries from a lady suddenly sounded. The guards finally reacted and immediately picked up the machine guns to shoot towards this big demon. However, the bullets that hit on this demon's hard skin just liked hitting the steel plate. Roar! Nightwalker let out a roar that seemed to come from hell, and a blue flames immediately ejected from his mouth. The guards who were touched by the flames instantly turned into ashes. The big demon continued to move forward. The people who were swept by his nails instantly turned into pieces of blood mist. Slaughter, this was almost a slaughter. After a few seconds, this place had become a sea of blood. Bruce observed everything secretly. He nodded in satisfaction with the new Nightcrawler, and then took away the moribund angel. Name, Kurt Wagner. Identity, Nightcrawler, Demon, Level 4 Mutant. Ability, the demon's body, 120W, the demon's consciousness, 100W, super transfer, 100W, the demon's flame, 100W, the demon's claw, 80W, atavistic memory, 80W, flying, 30W. Nightcrawler evolved the demon's gene lurking in his body during the process of strengthening. His ancestor was a real demon, but Nightcrawler didn't know about it. His demon consciousness ability would automatically invade his own consciousness when his life was threatened. Besides, Bruce noticed that once the surrounding humans or mutants had an evil thought, Nightcrawler's demon consciousness ability would automatically absorb them. After leaving the Black Fist House, Bruce threw Angel on the only way that Apocalypse and Storm would inevitably pass. Naturally, he had already erased Angel's memory about him. Whereafter, Bruce left Egypt and returned to Xavier's school. Chapter 264. Inside an abandoned factory. Looking at the moribund Angel who was lying on the ground, Apocalypse slowly squeezed a drop of blood from his fingertip and forced it into Angel's mouth. Instantly, the miracle happened. Storm widened her eyes next to Apocalypse. She clearly saw that Angel's wounds were healing rapidly at a visible speed. At this time Apocalypse's eyes turned over. He started to strengthen Angel. Then Storm saw this scene of the reborn Angel. A moment ago, he seemed to be about to die at any time, but now he was full with the vigor again. Besides, a pair of steel wings started to grow up on his back. Ah! Angel couldn't help roaring in pain because of the germination of this pair of steel wings. Seeing this scene, Apocalypse cracked a smile. That's it, my child, this is just your true power. With the completion of the evolution, Angel stood up, and the steel wings behind his back made an unceasing, clang voice. However, his wings were more perfect, his clothes were more inverse. So Apocalypse directly made a metal armor using his sand control ability for Angel when he saw Angel's predicament. The metal armor spliced on Angel's body piece by piece. Finally, Angel swept all of his decaying momentum before and looked unprecedentedly majestic. The current Angel had formally become a level 3 mutant under Apocalypse's hard work. Besides, his defense was also greatly enhanced by the metal armor. After transforming the steel wings and putting on the metal armor, the upgrade of the new Angel was declared complete formally. But, just as Apocalypse was preparing to enlighten this new horseman and tell him about his great ideals, Angel without any hesitation directly flew away after giving Apocalypse a respectful nod. Apocalypse was slightly surprised. He didn't understand Angel's behavior. After that, he activated his telepathy ability. With the remaining mental strength Apocalypse left in Angel's mind during the evolution before, Apocalypse successfully checked Angel's memory. Soon, he saw the scene of Angel being defeated by Nightcrawler with a punch. It turned out that Angel's heart was filled with hatred for the demons. In addition, he was not reconciled to his failure before. So this was the reason why Angel didn't say goodbye and left. He wanted to fight with Nightcrawler again. What an impulsive kid. After getting Angel's memory, Apocalypse understood the causation. The bloodthirsty and warlike as him was more appreciating at the frank and forthright Angel instead. Such a person was easily controlled in usual. At the same time, the powerful Nightcrawler attracted Apocalypse. Perhaps this powerful demon would be turned into one of his horsemen. Just thinking Angel and demon would become his horsemen together, Apocalypse couldn't help exciting. Besides, since this idea appeared in Apocalypse's mind, it just liked a deluge and couldn't stop. Storm, let's keep up with Angel. there is another kid waiting for me. In the deep of an empty desert. A blue, near 4 meters demon coldly looked at Angel who was flying in the sky. The dark, bright eyes implied the demon's consciousness would completely suppress Nightcrawler's own consciousness soon. In the view of the awakened demon, Nightcrawler's thoughts were too naive. Such a disadvantaged person was unworthy of owning the demon's honorable consciousness. Before that, the demon had given Nightcrawler some time to adapt. Obviously Nightcrawler failed. In the demon's ancient memory, the person like Nightcrawler would often be eaten by other powerful demons. The law of the jungle prevails was the only truth. Next, the demon had decided to destroy Nightcrawler's soul and occupy his body because he had given him too much time. Before coming to the desert, the demon turned the Black Fist House into a sea of fire. Due to the loud noise, the demon was soon besieged by the human army. After experiencing humans' high-tech weapons such as planes, tanks, missiles, the demon eventually ran away from the humans' gunfire. Whereafter, he transferred himself in this desert. To him, the distance of thousands of miles was not too far. Because the higher demons could even transfer between stars. Unfortunately, just when he came to this desert, this damned Birdman actually followed up. Blessed by Satan, he still remembered the last time he was sealed by a high-level angel which caused him to sleep for hundreds of years. This thing still seemed happening yesterday. After seeing Angel, he decided to kill this fucking guy in a blow this time. The hot weather made him feel more irritable. This time, only tearing this angel alive could make him relax a bit. Tell me your name, Birdman. It will bring me some extra funny. The demon looked at Angel and licked the lips excitedly. Remember, my name is Warren, your Terminator. Before the words fell, Angel swooped down at the demon. Accompanied by the swoop, there were tens of steel wings shooting towards the demon. Whoosh! 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 The sonic boom sound showed what powerful energy there was in these steel wings. At this time, the demon's palm emitted a blue flame. Whereafter, this flame parted into tens and accurately hit all of the steel feathers. The steel feathers that could pierce the wall were melted into liquid iron by the demon's flame in midair. Ha ha ha. The demon sneered and gripped toward Angel. Behind the air of Angel suddenly appeared 2 energy claws, which was quickly trapping Angel inside. With a bang, the angel helplessly fell to the ground. Hey, Warren, it's your time to die. At this time, the demon opened his big mouth. Obviously, he was preparing his ultimate skill. The angel struggled to get rid of it, but it didn't help. After all, there was a level gap between him and the demon. At this moment, Angel showed a desperate look. At the same time, he also understood that impulsiveness would cost his life. However, where could he buy a regret pill in the world? But just when he closed his eyes and ready to accept the result, a blazing ray suddenly shot towards the demon. Feeling the energy of the ray was enough to hurt him, the demon had to give up killing Angel. After dodging this ray, the demon decisively transferred himself away and disappeared in place. This marks the end of part 44 of the story Mārvēl Unlimited Skills, I Can Download. Thank you for listening. Please like the video and hit the subscribe button to listen more. Hit the bell icon to get notified of all the new content uploaded to the channel ASAP.